We checked out the definitions of population, parameters, sample, and statistics, and even gave some notation for those. This time we're going to practice using that terminology in a couple of examples. So in the first scenario, they tell us that the General Social Survey asks the question, about how many good friends do you have? The survey takes a random sample of American adults, and of the 819 who responded, 6% reported having only one good friend. So let's make sure we can identify our key terminology here. Population, who's our key group of, our entire group of interest, our target group here. Since this was a random sample of American adults, that's probably our target population here. So say American adults. Now, we couldn't ask every single American adult, how many good friends do you have? Instead, they took a random sample of 819 people, or 819 responded. So that's our sample, or our subset of all American adults. So 819 American adults. Now, looking back at the information, let's see if we have any statistics. Remember, statistics are summaries of the sample. So they tell us out of the people who responded, our sample, or subset, 6% had one good friend. So 6% is a statistic because it's a summary on the sample. Now, notice I'm not going to label this as X bar or mu because it's not a mean, it's a percentage of a category. So I'm just going to leave it as 6% now. We'll introduce notation as the semester goes on. Parameters, if you read the problem, remember parameters describe the entire population. So reading the problem, I don't see any summaries of the entire population of American adults. So I'm going to say none here. Let's practice with one more scenario. So scenario B, they tell us tiger sharks are common off the Atlantic coast and around here in Myrtle Beach. They're the 4th largest shark in the world and have an average length of 12 feet, average weight of 1,000 pounds. Some tiger sharks are sexed and measured near Garden City and had an average length of 9.5 feet and weight of 890 pounds. So first, let's think about our population. What is that target entire group of interest? Seems here that we're talking about tiger sharks. And we're not going to look at every single tiger shark. Our sample or subset, they tell us some tiger sharks were looked at near Garden City. They don't give us the number in this problem, so don't try and make anything up. Just say some tiger sharks in Garden City. That is our sample. And then remember your alliteration, statistics, anything that summarizes the sample. So take a moment and reread again and see what information we have there. Check out the last sentence. Some tiger sharks had an average length of 9.5 feet. So I'm going to put 9.5 feet and weight of 890 pounds. So these guys are statistics because they're summarizing the sample, those some tiger sharks we looked at near Garden City. And since these are both averages, I can use the notation of average for these. And specifically, I'm going to use X bar. That's the notation for the average of a sample. Since I've got two different measurements going here, I'm just going to toss in a subscript, X bar the length, X bar for the width. Don't get too worked up about the subscripts, but I've got the averages for different measurements for the sample. So we use X bar. Parameters, anything that describes the population. So going back to the beginning here, they give kind of some general information about tiger sharks, describing all tiger sharks. So for example, they tell us the average length is 12 feet and the average weight is 1,000 pounds. So I'll jot that down because it's describing the entire population of tiger sharks in general. Now, the notation for average for the whole population that was given earlier as mu. And to reduce confusion, I'm going to again use some subscripts L and W for length and width.